Hello, everyone. Yeah, welcome back to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. Apologies, but just had a bit of a technical glitch. One of those things that happens these days when you're on Zoom calls. But I'm back, joined with Clinton Young, and we'll carry on with our conversation. So, yeah, we were just talking about the sort of psychology side of things, and how I like to delve into the positive side of life, if you like, and of what the brain can do. As I said, my sister's a clinical psychologist, a criminal psychologist, and she gets to delve into areas I just wouldn't want to go. I don't know why she does, but she enjoys it, and it's fascinating. And she's helping out in her own way. She's helping people get from rock bottom up to a level that's acceptable in society. I just like to work with the people that are at a good level in society, but they want to get to the top level of what is possible in human beings. I like to deal with the 10 percenters looking to become the 1 percenters, looking to become the 0.1 percenters, if you like. That's my mission. So anyone who wants to join me on that mission, I'm always happy to work with.
Nice.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you like to do when you're not sort of speaking and teaching people the art of speaking.
Well, I love to travel. In fact, the podcast, I'm going to start a podcast as well, and it's going to be all about one of them. I have three ideas for three different podcasts, but one of them is all about global lifestyle and lifestyle entrepreneurship combined. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what lifestyle entrepreneurship is, just Google it because there's a lot of definitions of it. I don't know if there's necessarily a hard and fast rule, but ultimately, I believe what it means to me is a lot of what Mike and I have been talking about today. Really going on this sort of inward journey of self-discovery and discovering what lights you up. What is that thing that you're passionate about? And it doesn't have to necessarily be a business around your passion, but it has to be a lifestyle that allows you to participate in your passions. Lifestyle entrepreneurship could even be somebody that has a job for a very forward-thinking global company that gives you opportunities to live and work anywhere around the world. It gives you something that I like to call geo-flexibility. Geo-flexibility. I don't even know if that's a word, but I made that up. Maybe I made that up. Maybe I didn't.
One to me. It sounds like one to me. And actually, I think those companies are getting more and more prevalent, especially since the lockdown.
Yeah, there's going to be more and more opportunities. I think there's a massive wave that was already underway, and this is sort of that thing that's going to tip the scales. But when we think about global lifestyle, like I said, I have a love for culture. I've lived and worked in Brazil and in Singapore and traveled all through Southeast Asia and a little bit less in South America. And been very fortunate to be to about 20, 25 countries, which in the grand scheme of things is not really a ton of countries. But for a lot of people, that's a decent amount. Of course, when you live in Europe, it's a lot easier to go to many countries very, very quickly, right? Because a lot of them are very close to each other.
Yeah, but that's why, all the states that you've been to in America, they're all countries, really. They all got their own cultures and their own climates. And so it's just like Europe. It's just like doing, a 12-country tour of Europe is a 12-state tour of America.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something my wife and I we're very fortunate to share these very common values of travel, adventure, and really experiencing new cultures and being okay with being that sort of black sheep, right? That person that's willing to, one of the things I teach are black sheep habits, right? Black sheep habits are a lot of the habits that the top 1% of athletes, of entrepreneurs, of business executives do that most people aren't willing to do because it might make you feel like you might look weird or it might be a little different. Things like visualization, things like meditation, things like contemplation, solo walks in nature, right? So I'm okay with being that black sheep and being that person that wants to live and work all around the world. So my wife and I are literally, we've done little mini episodes of this on our own life, but in the podcast, I want to interview people that have just picked up shop and said, you know what, I'm going to rent out my house, and I'm going to go and I'm going to travel through Europe, or I'm going to travel through South America. And I don't mean just travel. I mean like live and work and for 6 months or a year or 4 years. And I'm starting to connect with more and more people around the world that are already doing that right now. And that's a passion of mine. I will be doing that most likely next year in the US and the following year all across the world. And in this next year, I'm going to interview people on my podcast all about living and walking in faith, trusting that things are going to work out, things are going to be okay. I'm going to live and work all around the world. So that's what I want to interview as well.
There's a chap called Todd Sullivan who's in the Facebook group where we met, and he's an author, and he left Louisiana and he's now living in. He was going to go to Japan, I think, or China, but he's ended up in Taiwan. Yeah, but he went to Malaysia first. I think he didn't end up in Japan or China. He just went to Malaysia, and now he's in Taiwan. Yeah, and he's from Louisiana, and people like that, that to me was fascinating. Like how you end up in Taiwan when you we're headed to Japan, but it was all to do with he teaches English, if you like, and it was all to do with where the work was, So you went to one place, but you end up somewhere else. And I actually haven't done any of that type of. I've always lived in Wales generally. I've done quite a lot of traveling. I've been, to Hawaii, and I've been to, the British Virgin Islands, and I've been to Cuba, and I've been to, 6, 7 countries in Europe, and all those sort of places. But I got way more on my list I wanna get achieved and done, which is partly why I want to be a global speaker as well, because I do love traveling myself. So I do know some people who end up in the global speaking arena, and they're actually not that interested in traveling. They get bored of it quickly.
Yeah, as a speaker, as I mentioned in our conversation, I've spoken all throughout the UK, in Ireland. I haven't spoken in Scotland yet in that area. I've spoken all throughout London, or all throughout England, and I haven't spoken yet in Wales. So I gotta get over there too. But man, I tell you what, the travel definitely is not as glamorous as it might seem. And it's funny, my wife and I, we have this distinction between travel and holiday, as you might call it, or vacation, as we call it in the US. Very big distinction, right? Holiday, vacation, in most people's eyes, and now in my eyes as well, that's sitting on a beach. That's hanging out. That's chilling. That's like relaxing. Whereas travel is more what you experience as an international keynote speaker or a global speaker. You're traveling. And that means the intricacies and the very real realities of getting on a plane, getting off a plane, getting on another plane, getting in a rental car, right? Traveling is very, very different than vacationing or taking a holiday. And as a speaker, you just got to get used to it. There's definitely a lot of perks to it. It's a lot of fun. And, the novelty of it wears off within your first or second or third paid international speaking gig, or even local for that matter.
I used to travel all around the UK by car to different cities, towns, etc. As a sales director, as corporate sales director, doing meetings, I travel 2, 3 hours, 3.5, 4 hours to do a 2-hour meeting and then come back. Yeah. But a lot of the time I would stay over and I would check out the town or check out the city. I remember once I went to Edinburgh on a business trip, and the festival was on, the Fringe Festival. So I went and checked out a load of comedy acts and entertainers and all that sort of thing. So to me, I'm opportunist, and it's hard work, just like traveling 4.5 hours, doing a 2-hour meeting, traveling 4.5 hours is hard work back as well. But if, for example, every now and then you think, actually, I'm going to extend the day and I'm going to stay there. And I used to do that a bit. I used to book appointments on a Friday, take my my ex-wife and the kids with me, drop them somewhere to spend the day when I'm doing my appointment, go on a Friday, tell the company I was going back Friday night, but I'd stay over, say Saturday or Saturday, Sunday, and then come back. So you actually get the company paying for your trip. Yeah. The company's paying for your weekend away, and you just do your appointments and then stay for the weekend, That's just being a bit creative, So again, you can sort of, if you're a bit clever, you can combine the travel with a bit of sightseeing and a bit of adventure and a bit of culinary experience and all those things, which is why I like traveling. I like to sample cultures and sample food and meet people and interested people who are into psychology like us. we want to know how the brains work in other parts of the world as well, and whether the psychology is the same, and whether, and people are very different. People are vastly different in different parts of the UK. I can probably, I've never thought of this, and now I just did, but I could probably teach people how to sell differently per the regions of the UK.
Yeah, that's a niche.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I never thought about it before, but just having a conversation about your experiences of traveling, like, for example, you go to London, you make an appointment an hour, you make sure you're out in an hour. You go to Wales, or you go to, say, the Yorkshire, and actually the Celtic areas as well, Scotland and Ireland, as long as they're making tea and you keep drinking it, you can stay there as long as you want to, if the appointment's big enough, you just stay there and just chat. So,
yeah, and as a speaker, you've got to learn to speak to different audiences as well, and different cultures, right? And not, that's a whole hour-long talk right there. I work with my coaching clients for speaking in different cultures. You've got to understand that, you have to adapt. You're in their culture now. You can still be you, and you can still bring your unique flavor, even if it's a cultural flavor. But you just have to be really aware. And that's why, I'm so adamant about awareness. And I really feel that awareness creates freedom. In so many ways, awareness creates freedom in our lives, right? As a speaker. In fact, any of your listeners that are entrepreneurs that want to speak, to grow their business, or maybe they want to become speakers, a couple things that I would say to write down are these. You've got to have massive awareness growth in your awareness. You have to have what I like to call our accelerated awareness techniques. And I'm going to give you 3 of them right now. So accelerated awareness techniques, you have to, before I go into that, you have to really buy into the fact that becoming a world-class speaker is in your best interest. To become a world-class speaker, to grow your business, or to become a speaker yourself, you've got to buy into that first and foremost. And again, what that means is not necessarily speaking all around the world, but what that means is having the ability to impact the masses from whatever stage you're on, whatever video you're on, whatever podcast you're on. You have to have the ability to do that. And in order to do that, you have to massively deepen your own awareness of where you are right now as a speaker, where you want to go, and what are some of the things that maybe you can see that are in between where you are here and where you want to go. A lot of those things you're not going to be able to see. And that's why the 3rd accelerated awareness technique is so valuable, and I'll share that in a moment. So the 3 accelerated awareness techniques, first and foremost, is you have to get reps. You have to get reps. What do I mean by that? You have to treat your speaking almost like a gym. That's why I love, Mike, that you just took massive action. You do like 10 episodes a day on your podcast. You're getting so many reps. And when you're a speaker and you get reps, especially if it's a live audience or an audience that can leave comments, you're going to then see what resonates most with the people that you're talking to. You're going to learn from the marketplace what bits of your content, is great, what bits of your content maybe people don't remember, and then as a speaker, as the skills of a speaker, besides the content, you're going to see, how does the audience respond to that joke that I just told? How does the audience respond to how I broke down my top 3 tips? Are they leaning in? Are they kind of like fiddling with their phones? Right? You're going to really get immediate, instantaneous feedback. So your feedback loop is like this. That's why, like in sales, I used to have the role when I first became an entrepreneur. My mentor said, you got to make these 300 calls. Go get 300 leads, make 300 calls. And I like to train my people. I say, you can make 300 calls in the next 6 months, or you can make 300 calls in 3 days. I made 300 calls in 3 days. And I tell my team, I say, fail fast and fail often. And they're like, what? I say, yeah. And I say this with speaking as well. Get the reps. Fail fast and fail often.
Yeah, because failure,
get all the reps.
Yeah, failure is not failure. It's just lessons. And the more you can fail, the more you'll learn. So the quicker you can get to the
absolutely
action state, of how you need to deliver what you need to deliver. So
right.
I started off making 100 phone calls a day or knocking 100 doors a day. So I started off as a youngster doing that. And it's all about that repetition, perfecting.
Yeah, you're going to get the same rejection. You're going to get the same exact reasons why somebody won't buy, or in the speaker's case, you're going to get the same exact audience reactions, whether you do it now or you do it in 6 months. You might as well do it all now, because you're going to learn so much faster. You're going to grow so much faster. And the reason why I say fail fast and fail often is you fail much smaller. You have the opportunity to fall much shorter distances than if you waited 6 months. So number one, accelerated awareness technique is repetition. Get on as many stages as you can, as fast as possible. And I teach my students how to get on stages literally within a week. No kidding. Like stage after stage after stage after stage. And you got to be willing to speak for free in the beginning as well. Yeah. So that's the first thing. So the first thing is awareness technique. Accelerated awareness technique is get repetition. Number two is any great athlete. If you think of, I know you're a big athlete, any great athlete out there watches what, Mike? What do they watch? What do they watch?
They watch the best people in the world and what they're doing, and they look to replicate it.
100%. So they model the people that are already doing it, and then they also watch game tape.
Yeah.
They watch game tape not only of other, they watch game tape not only of other people, but also of themselves. More importantly, watch it of yourself, because when you watch yourself speaking, you're going to have a whole nother level of awareness, right? So watch yourself. Every single time you speak, record it every single time. Right now on this podcast, I'm recording right there on my own phone. I record every single time I speak, and I tell my students to do the same. You can use it not only for marketing purposes, whether you get a picture or a quick video snapshot. I know you're going to send me this video already, but you know what? I want to get it on mine right now so I can send something out immediately. It might take you a couple hours or a day to get it over me. I can send this out right away. So you always do that, but more importantly, you get your game tape so you can watch the game tape and you can learn what you did well and what you didn't do well. And you try to do it with an audience in the background so you can see the audience reaction to what you're doing as well. So that's accelerated awareness technique number two. And number three, and this goes for whether you're an entrepreneur wanting to speak to grow your business, whether you're a social activist and you want to get your message out there to change the world, or whether you're an actual inspirational speaker like I am and you speak all around the world and you want to really become masterful and world class, you got to do these three techniques to accelerate your awareness. And number three is you've got to hire a coach or find a mentor and surround yourself with other people that are 5 steps ahead of you, 10 steps ahead of you, 50 steps ahead of you, 5,000 steps ahead of you, and get the guidance of that coach, because they're going to see things that you don't see on your game tape. They're going to see things you're doing well. They're going to see things you're not doing well. They're going to see your greatest hidden treasure that you don't even know you have in your own speaking ability, in your own personality, how you're not leveraging your greatest gift, right? They're going to see all that. So again, get the reps, accelerated awareness techniques, get the reps, write that down. So you get the reps, and then you get the game tape of all of your reps, and you watch it, and you learn. And then you surround yourself with people that are further along than you, hire that coach, find that mentor, and that's going to accelerate your whole process of becoming world class. And they're going to be able to guide you back with correction. So it starts off with awareness, and then you got to have the courage to implement the new things that you learn, that new awareness. And with that courage, now you up level to confidence. And then you guess what? You get more awareness. So you're back down to the awareness stage, and then you get more repetitions, more guidance, and more correction, and you have courage to implement again. And then you have confidence, and you keep doing that. Awareness, courage, confidence, awareness, courage, confidence, repetition, guidance, correction, repetition, guidance, correction. And as you follow those two models up the pyramid, you become world class. That's how to become a world class speaker, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're an inspirational speaker.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's interesting, because I'm sort of doing those three things. The only one thing I'm not doing is I'm getting the coaching, but it's not one-on-one. I'm observing the coaching, if you like, or but the other two is yeah. So it's good to know I'm on the right path, and maybe we'll speak again about the third of the three, because at some point, for me, the bit I know I need help with is not necessarily the speaking side of that, because I know I'll master that myself by what I'm doing, the repetition and the watching and the observing other people, because I learn by osmosis, if you like, almost just by mirroring, sucking it up, and just learning the way of doing it. And plus sometimes you don't want to over mirror it as well, because I always like to be the best version of me, but me, I don't want to be the best version of someone
You're
else.
gonna find your style.
Yeah, you've got to find your style and the way it works for you. I'm always very conscious of that. That's why, for a long time, I used to just take little nuggets off people and not a lot of gold, because I wanted the nuggets that I could add to me being me, not the gold that turns me from me to a mirror of someone else. Yeah. So
that's why it's so important to learn principles and not just do everything someone else does. Learn the principle. That's why I teach the top 7 principles to becoming a world-class speaker. You learn those principles and then you make it fit your style, right? Then you have it be your own. But the principles are the principles are the principles.
That's how I used to teach telesales scripts. You learn the principles of what you need to include in your pitch, and then you make the pitch your own. You know what I mean? You don't follow a script like so many other people teach and get it wrong, because that's the worst thing you could ever do, is sound like a robot reading off a script. But there's elements in your performance that you need, and then go and shape the performance to how it fits your personality. Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, I'm with you 100% there. But the bit I know I need, which is the help, because I'm new to this whole sector, is that whole, getting the gigs, that whole process, beyond, because I know I've driven, not only do you have to speak for free, so I'm somebody who act as if you like. So I teach people, if they want to get a job, volunteer for free for a while, whenever they want to get a job to, and they'll get a job and do a good job doing it, and they'll get a job. I also used to act as if, so I volunteered as a manager when I was assistant manager, because I got the manager's job. I volunteered as a sales director when I was a manager to get the sales director. So you do the extra work in volunteer on top of the work they pay you for, and eventually they give you the job that you're volunteering for. And so I've been on speaking gigs where I speak for free. I had to travel all the way to London on a weekend, spend 2.5 hours up for an hour speaking gig, 2.5 hours back. Yeah, I had to pay my petrol and for the event that I was speaking at. Sometimes you've got to put the time in. Sometimes you've got to pay to get this stage before they pay you for the stage.
Yeah. 100%.
Just the way it is. You've got to hustle, haven't you? You got to hustle. You got to make it happen. You got to do whatever you got to do. That's the stage I'm at the moment. I'm hustling. I'm hustling to get on podcasts. I'm hustling to get on stages. I'm hustling to, get into networks and be the speaker there, or the masterclass, or the whatever. I'm hustling for any opportunity to speak, to perfect the art, to get comfortable and confident, and to and create greater opportunities from the opportunities that you got to start at. You got to start somewhere. Everyone starts at a level. So. And you have a look at my YouTubes, and look like anyone else, everyone goes back to their first one. They hate it because obviously you're a different person. After repetition, you turn into a different person, and so you don't like looking back at that old you, because you're not that person anymore. I've got some YouTube videos which are shocking because I wasn't used to talking to a camera. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
The camera doesn't give you anything. It's just flat, So you got to work the camera. You got to find a way of getting what you need off people, off the screen, or off the camera, off the phone, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So other than travel and the speaking, anything else you like doing with your spare time?
I love teaching, man. Any way I can teach folks, whether it's speaking. I literally wrote on my board this morning, one of the things that I love is teaching about things that I'm passionate about and of which I have mastery. Yeah. Right? So whether that's speaking, whether that's sales, whether that's negotiation, whether that's living your dream life now, right? How do you overcome whatever challenges you have to live your dream life now? I just love teaching. right? That's why I want to do a podcast. In fact, I'm actually doing a free, I want to offer this to you as well as anyone listening. I'm going to be doing a free masterclass. People are telling me I'm crazy for doing this for free because I charge a lot for my one-on-one coaching. Not a lot, it's all relative, but a decent amount, right? It's worth it. It's worth every freaking penny. But my challenge for everyone is to get into this masterclass that I'm going to be doing. It's all about speaking. It's all about how do I become a world-class speaker. And it's so fresh, it's so new that like the content, I have it all created, but I want to do this live because I don't want to give people what I want to give them. I want to give people what they need. So I'm literally going to be doing this in September. I only have 4 spots available. I'm having it with 10 people. I have 6 already that are committed, and it's going to be a 4-week masterclass. Going to meet 4 times. So again, Mike, you don't have to tell me now, but I'm inviting you. I know you want to become a speaker, and anyone on your list. And I also want to provide some tips and some tools that I can give at the end.
Yeah, put me down. Put me down.
Say that again?
Put me down for that. I'll come along for that. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll also, if you give me some links, send me some links, and I'll market it for you. When are you doing it?
I'm doing it in September. I don't know the exact date yet. It's going to be the first week in September. But one thing I do want to offer to your list as well, and to anybody listening to this, because it sounds like we're probably winding down here. By all means, you can ask me more questions if you like. But I do want to offer and provide my top 7 tips to becoming a world-class speaker. I want to give those to everyone on here. We don't have time to go through them now. But I'm going to give a website, if that's okay with you, Mike. I'd like to give a website where they can get these all for free, totally for free for Mike's audience. If they go, I see you nodding yes, so I'm going to go ahead and give that now. It's world-class speaker habits. I'm sorry, world-class speaker tips, delete, worldclassspeakertips.com. Again, www.worldclass, there's 2 S's there, and then there's a 3rd S for speaker, tips.com. So worldclassspeakertips.com. Just put your email in there. What will happen is you will get, literally, I'm going to give you my top 7 speaker tips, which are the principles. Tips is almost cheapening it. These are principles that I spent thousands and thousands of dollars and thousands of hours on stage speaking and learning from some of the top speakers on the planet. And I've condensed them down into the top 7 principles with a bonus 8th principle, all literally on something that you can download in minutes, in seconds really, and go through them and start to understand and learn and practice the top 7 principles. So I want to give that to everyone. And then of course you'll be connected with me. You can learn more about me from there and have all my contact information as well from there. So again, that's worldclassspeakertips.com.
And you've got 3 more spaces left for the speaker masterclass. So 3 more spaces. I'll, if you send me whatever you go with that, I can actually, if you want me to, I can put those 7 tips out on my social media and various places with a link to where they can sign up for that masterclass. I'll market that between now and September for you. And just to let you know, if that's a 4-week, 4-episode masterclass, that'll actually end on my birthday.
Nice.
Roughly,
Excellent.
You know? So, because my birthday's the end, 28th of September. So, depending on what day you start it and the 4-week run, I guess it's going to be like one evening in the week or one day in the week for 4 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the goal.
Birthday, that will. So that'll be good.
Perfect. And if anybody wants to learn more about me or connect with me, or just see some of my speaking clips, you can obviously find me on YouTube. It's Clinton Young. I think it's actually Mr. Clinton Young on there. They didn't have Clinton Young when I got this several years ago. And my website is just clintonyoung.com, CLINTONYOUNG.com. And I'm sure you can provide a link if you feel it's appropriate. If anyone wants to stay in touch with me, that's another way to get in touch with me just personally.
Yeah, brilliant. And actually, friends of mine run Wales's biggest business network, which they've now gone global with. And they're also doing a global summit in November with all top speakers. They've had, a lot of the people I listen to, they've had on their masterclass events, on their online events. So they've had like this lockdown period. They've had Les Brown, they've had Brian Tracy, they've had Sharon Lecter, they've had who else? They've had John DiMartini. Loads of people, and a lot of those
That's great.
for one November event. So again, I'll have to give them some information on you and stuff. But I think they're trying to get Branson as well. I think they're trying to get Grant Cardone as well. They've been on Necker Island with Branson, so that they're not just trying to get it in randomly. I myself have been on a Zoom call with Richard Branson about a week ago. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, because you're giving me something as well, I'll see if I can give you something in return, because I'm old school. That's the way I work. It's the way I.
That's great, Mike. I love it. I love your connecting ability. It's great. You're a master connector. I want to give you one more thing. If you want to join my speaker posse on Facebook, it's totally free. It's a Facebook group. I call it a speaker posse because a posse is a group of people that have a common cause, a common mission. And it's a collective of international badass speakers from all around the world. Some are brand new. Some have been speaking for 10, 20 years. And you can just find that on Facebook or go to speakerposse.com, and that brings you right over to the free speaker Facebook group for it.
I'll definitely join that as well. And yeah, if you want to be connected to some more networks as well, I'm actually connected to quite a few networks. So
I would love that.
You have to trade a bit with some of that. I'll bring you along. I'll introduce you to another power network, a friend of mine who's well connected globally, because it might lead to more speaking gigs, etc. And there was something else. And there was something else I wanted your thoughts on, really. So these are the topics I want to speak on. So I've got your topic. I created 2 formulas during lockdown as well. So I've been a busy boy, and one of the formulas is a happiness formula. I call it the SMART happiness formula. So the SMART stands for sleep, meditation, ability to perform, which covers exercise, nutrition, and hydration, random acts of kindness, and target setting, target achievement. And basically, it's a daily formula for how to make yourself happier. Yeah. So it's the physiology, biology behind, if you do certain things consistently every day, you'll become a happier person. Yeah. So that's a happiness formula that I want to teach around the world and do seminars on and write some books on, etc. But that's really my lost leader. That's my giveaway. I want to give that away, a bit like your 7 steps. That's my 5 steps to give away, to say, listen, do this on a daily basis and you'll be happy. Because a big part of happiness for me is success, and a big part of targets is setting things in motion to achieve success. So actually, I come up with that 5-step happiness formula, and then that led on to me coming up with a 7-step success formula, which I call the 7 pillars of success, 7 principles of success, similar to the language that you use. And I call it streams. So STREAM stands for systems, technology, relationships, efficiency, action, marketing, and sales, which I believe if you work on growing and developing those areas all through your life, you cannot fail but to get success, And ultimately you can do the success on its own, but if you do the success on its own, at some point you could have burnout because you're not looking after yourself. So if you do the SMART happiness formula, which looks after yourself, and you combine it with the streams, the success formula, it's called SMART Streams. And it's what I call the elite business performance formula. It's basically what gives you success long term. Yeah. Because you're looking after yourself and keeping yourself happy whilst maintaining the success levels. Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah. And basically SMART Streams will put you into full flow.
Nice. That's great.
So I wanted your feedback on that, because that's what I want to teach around the world. That's what I want to write books on. And I've already created content on my website and some of these formulas. I've come up with some of these blackboards with the formulas on, the chalkboards with these mad scientist formulas, but they're not mad scientists. They're factual, biological, psychology. There's a bit of everything in there,
What type of feedback would you like? Just on the overall model, or on how to utilize the model? How to speak
about what I've worked on so far. I'm still producing some of the content in that, but do you think that would work well? From your experience on a global basis, this is what I'm going to put my pin my life to. Now, this is what I want to educate and teach people on. And
yeah, I mean, I resonate with it, and I just think that the best way to find out the answer to that question is to start talking about it. Yeah. So get on your podcast, get on your YouTube channel, and just start talking about it. Yeah. Do some Facebook Lives maybe as well. That might be a good idea as well. And maybe even start a group around whatever you think the ideal person to actually receive that information would be. Create a group for those types of people, kind of like the speaker posse. I know that's for people that want to become world-class speakers. So people that want to be that, they find it. And that's where I produce a lot of my content as well, to test things out. So just get feedback from the marketplace, but I resonate with it. I think they're both very, very useful and practical, and they're kind of, it's smart, right? Smart streams. But it's also very intelligently done, and they also work very well together. So I think it's a great tool, especially for your entrepreneur audience, which is the person you want to impact anyway. So start talking more about it. Start teaching those.
That's why my podcast is aimed at that entrepreneurial audience, because I'm looking to form that group.
Totally.
I'm looking to form a mastermind as well, where maybe I put a mastermind together of the right people, and then get them to guinea pig my courses and my seminars now, which I'm all working on, so.
Do a masterclass like I am. That's why I'm doing this masterclass. I know all the content works because I did it all in my own life, but I don't want to force feed the marketplace. I want to get feedback, and what we'll get when we do that, and this goes for anyone out there that's an entrepreneur that has their own business and has a product. One of the cardinal sins to do is to build out an entire course and then bring it to market without asking the market if they actually want it.
Go do your market research,
right.
Analysis.
So one of the ways to do that is to do a free masterclass and find out what is the actual language of the pain that my target audience has. I know what it is for me, but I want to know what it is for a sample size of people. And from that, I'll get the language for the marketing, the language for the course title, and I'll get the topics that are most resonant for people that I want to go deeper on when I actually finish building out the course. I have the whole course built out on a mind map, and a portion of it, all the world-class speaker tips, is all built out. But all the other 90% of it is not. I haven't recorded the videos yet, because you don't want to waste your time doing that until you know the audience wants it.
That's why I haven't produced mine yet either, because I've been drip feeding it to some people who I want to get their opinion of it and gauging their response.
Brilliant.
And the effect, if you like, and actually everyone I've told about it love it, and I think the reason they love it, a lot of people resonate with the acronyms, I have been smart with the topics and the acronyms of that, and that's because it took me a long time. I'm a very creative thinker, and I got everything down on paper, and it took me a while to crystallize it. I had to sort of, a bit like Dead Poet Society or whatever. I had to see the letters and the words pop out. They had to cut. So I just thought, you're somebody whose opinion I would respect. So I thought I'd get some of that feedback, that market research that you're talking about, of someone who's been there, done it, and whose opinion I respect.
It sounds great. I love it. So I said, run with it. Try it out, man.
Yeah, that's the plan. Anyway, that's the plan. That's the plan. I'll keep getting people on my podcast. I'll keep seeing which ones it resonates with. It resonates a lot with, obviously, people in that health and well-being sector, especially the smarts bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's the money makers is the streams bit.
Yeah.
Because there's more money in success than there is in health and well-being, although there's pretty good money in both. Yeah, so yeah, brilliant. I've loved our chat this evening. I think what did we start? Nearly 2 hours. I think this may well be my longest chat. I know we had a bit of a technical interruption in the middle, but I do like to have good chats with people, and if they're going good and they're in flow, I'll let them go, and especially for me, there's nothing else I've got to do after this. And for you, I think you had some time today. So if there's no time pressures, you might as well let the conversation go when it needs to go.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure being on your podcast, Mike. If there's any way that I can support you or your listeners down the road, would love to. Again, the site to get the free speaker tips is worldclassspeakertips.com. And you can learn more about me and get connected with me at clintonyoung.com. But thank you again so much for the opportunity to contribute to your group of entrepreneurs on your podcast and YouTube channel and anywhere else you put this content.
Yeah, brilliant. And I'll share you around a bit and see if I can get you some speaking gigs in the UK, because you've not been to Wales. So if I can help you get to Wales somehow, then that'll be something, a little tick on your list, and a little sort of something good that I've done, from this whole conversation. And I'm sure there's plenty more we're going to be doing as well. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and look forward to the rest of our relationship building.
Absolutely. Take care, Mike.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right. There's nothing else left for me to say now other than have a great day. I know I will. And thanks very much for listening. Cheers. Bye-bye.